Welcome to Christian Lens, and the topic of this week is exam results. We are thinking of all of you who've been receiving your results over the last couple of weeks. And I want to challenge you with this. Remember that that piece of paper does not define you. The topic pick from the week is the A-level results of the students. They were absolutely outstanding. And my challenge is you are not defined by your results. We see in the news that the A-level students have the highest proportion of A's to A-star results since 2012. Even amidst the exams and the way that they're doing it this year has changed. And that has put huge pressure on the students and the teachers. So a well done to all of those who got their results this week. I remember when I went and got my results, it felt like in that moment, as you open your results, that the rest of your future hinges on them. And even all that you are hinges on those few results. But the big thing now is, what decision do you make? You know, whether you go to university or you don't, or you retake, or you take a gap year, the pressure just sometimes feels suffocating. And here's the thing, how we make the next decision really matters. Whether your results were good, average, or bad, you still have to make a decision. And sometimes we can make our decisions out of a place of fear. And so we draw back. Or we can make our decisions out of a fear of even being successful. So we might choose to remain average and won't take that risk. Or sometimes we make a decision wanting to impress people around us. And so we try and take the next step thinking that we will do what we think they want us to do. Or perhaps we make our decision out of disbelief, and so we just don't bother at all. See, if we make our next decision, if you make your next decision out of a place of insecurity, you're going to make insecure decisions. But as a Christian, I believe I am not defined by what I do. I'm defined by my relationship with God and my trust in Him. Because He defines me, He loves me, He's got a dream for me, and we do it together. Therefore, if and when I fail, I'm not a failure. Instead, my circumstances provide an opportunity for me to refine it, that doesn't define me. And I see this in the story of, and the reality of Joseph's life in the Old Testament. He started off as, he was the youngest, he got a dream from God, and he was a bit cocky with it. You know, to be honest, he needed to be a bit more humble about it. And his brothers were jealous, and they sold him on as a slave, and he worked himself up. He worked hard, and then he was a servant in Potiphar's house, and he was trusted, and he applied himself, and he worked well. And then Potiphar's wife fancied him and made accusations, and he ran away, but he was accused of wanting to make a move on Potiphar's wife when actually it was her. But he ended up in prison, not by his own fault, but he worked himself up. He was faithful in the small things. And this is the bit when I read that is so outstanding from Joseph's story that you and I can take a lesson from. It says in Genesis 39 verse 21, "But while Joseph was there in prison, the Lord was with Joseph and showed him steadfast love and gave him favor in the sight of the keeper of the prison." Whatever was done there, Joseph was the one who did it. And whatever he did, the Lord made successful. Joseph had a relationship and a partnership with God. He was secure in who he was with God. Therefore, doing work in the prison wasn't beyond him. He was faithful. But more than that, I believe he trusted God. The God who gave him the dream, the God would bring that about. See, the success of your next decision is not based on your results. Instead, it is based on how you make your next decision. See, I believe as a Christian, my security relies on God, and therefore the decisions I make, I am free to be creative, to take risks, to be bold, and to even fail, because I'm not defined by my circumstances. See, you and I can make a great success of our lives, but we got to examine how I make those decisions. As a Christian, I trust in God. I trust that as I'm faithful in the small things, as I go about the process, as I do, even where I'm not where I want to be yet, I gotta trust that I'm being refined and I'm being prepared for what lies ahead. I have to trust and be faithful in the small things. And remember this, Romans 8:28, that God will make all things work together for the good of those who love Him. There is hope for each of you and I. We are not defined by circumstances.